I built a voice agent for an agency that 100x their leads and runs about 90% cheaper than a human sales rep. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how it's built. Quick heads up. If you haven't seen that first video, I would start there. I covered the fundamentals of how a voice agent works, the design decisions behind this project, and there's also a live demo of it, qualifying a real lead. Links down below. But here's a quick recap. We're building with Pipecat orchestrating the pipeline, Twilio handling the phone call, AssemblyAI for streaming speech to text, and Cartesia turning the response back into voice.
Now, let me show you the code. I'm going to walk it in the order a real call actually happens. A row shows up, a phone rings, two people talking, and a transcript gets saved. We follow that path. Quick reminder of the shape, because everything below is just this. A voice agent does 4 jobs. It hears you, that's speech to text. It thinks of a reply, that's the language model. It speaks back, that's text to speech, and it's connected to a phone line. Hear, think, speak, connect. Hold that picture, okay? Because in a minute, you're going to watch it show up in the code as a literal list. So this little block lives inside the Google Sheet itself as an apps script. When the sheet changes, this runs and it looks for a row that has a phone number but a blank status. That's the whole definition of a new lead we haven't called yet. Now watch the clever part, because this is the kind of thing that bites you in production. The very first thing it does before it dials anything is set that row's status to calling. So the moment we touch a lead, the row is no longer blank. And later, when our server finishes and writes completed back into that same row, the status still isn't blank, which means this code can never pick that row up a second time. No infinite loops of the sheet calling the same person forever. If you've heard the word idempotency and found it scary, this is it. Idempotent just means running it again doesn't do anything extra. One blank check guards the whole thing in 4 lines. When the apps script fires, it calls one endpoint on our server /lead. And here's the first thing that endpoint does. It checks for a shared secret. Think of it as a password in a request header. And going over to our pipeline, this is the part I would frame and put on the wall. The single list is the entire voice agent. A pipeline is exactly what it sounds like. Audio goes in one end, flows through these stages top to bottom, and comes out the other end as speech. Each line is one stage, and the data just passes from one to the next. Let me explain this. So transport.input is the caller's audio coming in off the phone. STT turns that audio into text. That's the hearing. And transcript.user writes down what they said so we can save it later. Aggregator.use adds their line to the conversation memory. So the model remembers the whole call, not just the last sentence. Then LM, that's the thinking. The model reads the conversation and decides what to say. TTS turns that reply back into spoken audio, the speaking. Transport.output sends that voice back down the phone line. And the last 2 record what the agent said, same as we did for the human. That's it. That's hear, think, speak, connect, as a list you can read out loud. So when someone asks you, what does one of those fancy orchestration platforms actually do? The honest answer is, it does this. And this is the exact thing the no-code tools and the managed platforms were quietly charging you a premium for. And now, let's take a look at where the agent's behavior actually lives. Quick question you're probably already asking. Nothing we've looked at so far tells the agent what to actually say. Where do its questions come from? Its personality, the prices it quotes, it's all in this one file, prompt.py. And there's no conversion tree, no if this then say that logic. It's plain English instructions handed to the model. So here I'm giving it a name and it's basic instructions and then your goal in order. And here's the takeaway for you. If you wanted this exact system to book dentist appointments instead of qualifying video leads, you would not touch a single line of Python. You would rewrite this one English file. That's the entire behavior layer, and it's just text. How does it remember the conversation then? Let's take a look at the pipeline. This one tricks up almost everyone the first time, so stay with me. The language model has no memory. Every time it generates a reply, it is seeing the conversation code like it just walked in. So if you want the agent to remember what the caller said 30 seconds ago, you have to hand it the entire conversation. Every single turn. That's not a bug. It's just how these models work. And a voice agent has to deal with that. So here, the context object is that running memory. We started with 2 messages. The system message is the whole prompt we just looked at, the agent's rulebook. Notice the second one. We preload the greeting as if the agent had already said it. That's so the model knows it's already introduced itself and asks permission, and doesn't awkwardly do the whole hello a second time on its first real turn. Now, remember those 2 innocent-looking lines back in the pipeline, aggregator.user and aggregator.assistant? This is what they were for. Every time the caller says something, it gets appended to this context. Every time the agent replies, that gets appended too. So the context grows as the call goes, and the model always sees the full back and forth. That's the entire memory system. 2 entries in the pipeline list, fitting one context that keeps growing. So how does the agent know when the caller is done? Let's take a look at the stt file here. Here's the first problem that's genuinely unique to voice, and it's the one beginners always underestimate. How do you know when the other person has finished talking so the agent can reply? It sounds trivial, but it's not. Answer too early and you talk right over them mid-sentence. Answer too late, there's that awkward pause and the agent feels broken. This problem has a name. It's called turn detection. Figuring out where one person's turn ends. We hand that whole problem to AssemblyAI's streaming model, and these 3 numbers are the dials that control it. Let me translate them, because they read like noise and they're actually simple. The confidence threshold, 0.7, is how sure the model has to be that the turn is over before it commits. 70% sure. The second number said when it is that confident, only wait 160 milliseconds of silence before letting the agent jump in. That's a snappy natural gap. And the last number, 700 milliseconds, is the hard backstop. If someone throws off and the model isn't sure, after 700 milliseconds of silence, we call the turn done anyway. So the agent never just sits there. The reason this matters, 10 years ago, you would hand-tune fragile silence timers yourself, and you would feel robotic no matter what. Now a model trained on real speech does it, and you get 3 knobs, which leads straight into the part people mix up. Now, let's talk about the 2 different years, barge-in versus turn detection. So we just gave turn detection to AssemblyAI, but there's a second different listening job, and it's this one tiny line. This is a local voice detector running on our own server. And I want to be really clear about what it does and doesn't do, because this is the single most confused point for beginners. This is not turn detection. AssemblyAI handles turn detection. This thing only does barge-in. Here's the difference in one sentence. Turn detection asks, did the caller finish? So the agent can answer. Barge-in asks, did the caller just start talking while the agent is still speaking? So we should shut the agent up and listen. Finishing versus starting. These are 2 different questions and 2 different pieces of code. So barging is what lets you interrupt the agent mid-sentence. The way you would cut off a real person who's rambling, it has to be instant, so it runs locally, right here. So there's no network round trip. End of turn can afford to be a touch slower because it wants to be accurate. Fast interrupt and accurate ending, these are two different jobs on purpose. And one last touch that makes the whole thing feel alive. The instant the call connects and we speak a fixed opening line directly as plain text-to-speech. We do not ask the model first. So the lead hears a warm human, "Hi, this is Chloe," immediately. Instead of that little bit of silence while a language model wakes up and generates its first words. The model only takes over once the person actually replies. A tiny trick, but it makes a huge difference in how human it feels. And last thing, and this is the payoff for owning your own code. Each provider, the speech-to-text, the model, the voice lives in its own little file. And each file is basically one function that returns one thing. The voice lives in tts.py. Down at the bottom of that file, there's a second version over here. Basically, you can swap in any provider, any model yourself. And that's the whole code walkthrough. I hope you enjoyed building this voice agent with me. Follow for more tutorials like this.